Hello, my name's Professor Richard Hastings, and I lead a research study called Mapping and Evaluating Services for Children with Learning Disabilities and Behaviours that Challenge. We call that Project MELD for short. And we're carrying out this research because there is currently a large gap in evidence about the best way to design and then deliver community-based health and care services for children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge and their families. And this information is going to be crucial to inform those who commission and provide services for children with learning disabilities, behaviours that challenge and their families. And there are two stages to this research. In the first stage of the MELD study, we have identified, or we say mapped, community-based services for children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge across England. And what we did was look at how these services are structured, how they're organised, how they do things, and the different ways in which services do things we describe as service models. And so we've tried to identify how services who do things in similar ways might be described. In the second stage of the research, we will look in more detail at the service models that we have identified to find out what outcomes they deliver, effectively trying to think about what's the best way to organise and deliver services for children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge. And we'll also be asking questions about not just what the best outcomes are for children and families, but actually how much these different service models cost, and whether there are some that deliver the best outcomes for the best balance of costs.
Hi, my name is Sonal and I am a member of the MELD Family Carer Advisory Group.
Hi, my name is Karen and I am also a member of the MELD Family Carer Advisory Group. Stage 1 of the study is now complete. Sonal and I will summarise the findings.
In stage 1 of the study, the research team contacted as many community-based services as possible in England. These services were asked to complete a survey about the work they do. Hospital-based services, such as inpatient units, and those that are wholly part of the educational service, such as schools, were not included in the research.
The survey gathered information about where services were located, who they supported, how they were funded, what staff they had, what training staff had, and how they supported children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge.
161 eligible services completed the survey. Some of these services were invited to take part in an interview with a researcher so that the MELD team could learn more about the work that they do. 60 services took part in an interview with the research team.
Using a combination of input from family carers, professionals, and data analysis, 5 service models were identified. The first service model was Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services, or CAMS for short. These are generic CAMS services that have a distinct pathway to support children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge, whilst also supporting other children. The second service model was Learning Disability Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services, or LD-CAMS for short. LD-CAMS services support children with learning disabilities and all of their mental health and behaviour support needs. The third service model included children and young people's disability teams. These services support children with learning disabilities and behaviours that challenge within a wider service for other disabled children and other needs such as sleep and continence. The fourth service model was Specialist Behaviours that Challenge services. These services provide specialist intensive support for behaviours that challenge only. Some of these were based in the NHS and others were based within local authorities or run by a charity or private company. The final service model identified was different to the other models because either services provided support into young adulthood or covered all ages. The first service model was by far the most common.
In stage 2, the research team will take an in-depth look at the service models to find out what outcomes they deliver for children and families. The research team will also gather information on how much the different service models cost. Stage 2 of the research will be completed over the next 2 years. In the meantime, you can follow updates on the study via the MELD study website and on Twitter.